Lesson 12 for March 14 to 20, From North and South to the Beautiful Land. Read by Dr. Percy Harrold. Monday, March 16. Prophecies of Syria and Egypt. Question. Read Daniel chapter 11 verses 5 to 14. What is unfolding here? Daniel 11, beginning at verse 5. Also, the king of the south shall become strong, as well as one of his princes, and he shall gain power over him and have dominion. His dominion shall be a great dominion, and at the end of some years they shall join forces. For the daughter of the king of the south shall go to the king of the north to make an agreement. But she shall not retain the power of her authority, and neither he nor his authority shall stand. But she shall be given up with those who brought her, and with him who begot her, and with him who strengthened her in those times. But from a branch of her roots one shall arise in his place, who shall come with an army, enter the fortress of the king of the north, and deal with them, and prevail. And he shall also carry their gods captive to Egypt, with their princes and their precious articles of silver and gold, and he shall continue more years than the king of the north. Also, the king of the north shall come to the kingdom of the king of the south, but shall return to his own land. However, his sons shall stir up strife and assemble a multitude of great forces, and one shall certainly come and overwhelm and pass through. Then he shall return to his fortress and stir up strife. And the king of the south shall be moved with rage, and go out and fight with him, with the king of the north, who shall muster a great multitude, but the multitude shall be given into the hand of his enemy. When he has taken away the multitude, his heart will be lifted up, and he will cast down tens of thousands, but he will not prevail. For the king of the north will return and muster a multitude greater than the former, and shall certainly come at the end of some years with a great army and much equipment. Now in those times many shall rise up against the king of the south. Also violent men of your people shall exalt themselves in fulfillment of the vision, but they shall fall. Upon the death of Alexander the Great, the vast Greek Empire was divided among his 4 generals. 2 of them, Seleucus in Syria, that's to the north, and Ptolemy in Egypt, to the south, managed to establish dynasties that would fight each other for control of the land. Most Bible students understand the wars between the king of the north and the king of the south prophesied in Daniel 11 verses 5 to 14 as referring to the many battles involving these 2 dynasties. According to the prophecy, an attempt would be made to unite these 2 dynasties by marriage, but that alliance would be short-lived, as we saw in verse 6. Let's just read that one again. Where is it? And at the end of some years they shall join forces, for the daughter of the king of the south shall go to the king of the north to make an agreement, but she shall not retain the power of her authority, and neither he nor his authority shall stand, but she shall be given up, with those who brought her, and with him who begot her, and with him who strengthened her in those times. Historical sources inform us that Antiochus II Theos, from 261 to 246 BC, grandson of Seleucus I, married Berenice, a daughter of the Egyptian king Ptolemy II Philadelphus. However, that agreement did not last, and the conflict that directly involved the people of God soon resumed. Thus, Daniel 11 deals with some important events that will touch the lives of God's people during the centuries after the prophet Daniel passes from the scene. Again, we can ask the question of why the Lord reveals ahead of time all these details about wars involving kingdoms, fighting each other for supremacy in that part of the world. The reason is simple. These wars affect God's people. So, the Lord announces beforehand the many challenges his people will face in the years to come. Also, God is the Lord of history, and as we compare the prophetic record with the historical events, we can again see that the prophetic word is fulfilled as predicted. The God who predicts the vicissitudes of those Hellenistic kingdoms fighting each other is the God who knows the future. He is worthy of our trust and faith. This is a big God, not an idol manufactured by human imagination. He not only directs the course of historical events, but he also can direct our lives if we allow him to do so. And so to finish today, read Isaiah 46, verses 9 to 10. Remember the former things of old, for I am God, and there is no other. I am God, and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning, and from ancient times things that are not yet done, saying, My counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. How much basic Christian theology is found in these two verses, and what great hope can we take from them? Think about how scary verse 10 would be if God were not kind and loving, but vengeful and mean. This lesson was read by Dr. Percy Harrold for Christian Services for the Blind and Hearing Impaired, Christian Record Services for the Blind, the Sabbath School Department, and Hope Channel. You can also listen on the official Sabbath School 4 app and the Apple iTunes app, Sabbath School with Percy Harrold. Remember, God is always faithful.